June 14th, 2023. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart on the NinjaTrader platform. This is what the chart looked like today. Go down to the descriptions below and you can see where I thought I saw setups and also where I took my trades. I didn't take any trades today. Today was also the FOMC official rate decision, whether they're going to increase the interest rates or not. They decided they weren't going to. Now, there was a couple of pieces of economic data that came out today. One was at 5:30, was the core PMI, and then the other one, 5:30 Pacific Standard. The other one was at 11 and 11:30 Pacific Standard. 11, which is about right here where you saw this precipitous drop, is where the Fed officially came out and decided that they weren't going to raise the rate for this current month. They noted that they could change their minds for the July meeting, but we'll just have to wait and see. And then around 11:30 is when the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell comes out and adds a little color. So you can see it around 11 o'clock, there was a big sell-off, kind of chops down, and then around 11:30 he starts talking, and I guess he gives the market a little bit more color, and for whatever reason, the market liked what they heard. And just keep in mind that up until around 11 o'clock, this is all the price action that happened. It was about from 6:30 to 11:30, or actually 6:30 to about 11 o'clock. That is about 3.5 hours. That's all the price action. But if you look from 11 o'clock to 11:30, that is a lot of price movement right there. Very choppy price action. And even from 11 o'clock all the way over to here, this is just 1 hour right here from 11 to around 12. And look at the size of that compared to almost the same amount of candles, but this is almost covering the full 3.5 hours. And then look at here from 11, actually this is from 12 o'clock to about 1 o'clock. This is all the price action that happened during that time. It's quite a lot of volume, quite a lot of volatility during the last couple of hours of trading. So the overall market looked like this today. It didn't really sit in a nice range. This is the gray highs and lows of the pre-market that I drew. And then this, I thought there was going to be some kind of consolidation. This blue line here ends up, it kind of respected it, but it also broke through. So it really wasn't that important. Didn't really come into play. It made a double bottom down here. So I drew this blue line. Unfortunately, it never came back to test it as well. We can see in the pre-market things were very slow. There's a rally, then a sell-off, and then right where the FOMC comes out and just says they're going to keep rates the same, it flushes down, chops around, Jerome Powell comes in, it rallies, and then it just makes a bunch of choppy legs. So I would describe this as maybe a trading range, but you can't really consider it as a rally or a sell-off day. It was just kind of a big, not very consistent trading range. There were quite a lot of big moves, but unfortunately I didn't see a lot of good places to enter. So I also didn't take any trades. So I'm going to go ahead and I did mark it up, and this will just be good for future learning. There was one trade I tried to take, but I never got a fill. So it's actually this one right here, this higher low. So this is what the market looked like. It opened, and I'm just going to go through this hopefully rather quickly so the video doesn't get too long, because I know I have a tendency to make my videos too long. So let's see here. Okay, so you can see that these candles are pretty much almost the same size side by side. So this is very congested. This is the pre-market. I don't trade the pre-market. And then right where this transitions right here, this is where the regular trading hour starts to open. Now the first trade I actually saw was this one right here, this second entry long. Now when I saw this price action, at first I drew this shortened trend channel going up. There was no clear second entries, but I saw this as a new high. I saw this as a first entry long, pulls back a second entry long. But I also saw this as just one leg down, pulls back, and then a second leg down. So I kind of counted this as part of the second leg. When I saw this as like one leg down, pull back, second leg down, I thought this might have been a possible trade because this is a pretty decent signal bar. It is closing above the EMA. At the moment, you can't really trust this trend channel, but you do know it had a break here, and this might be the first time it's going to come up and try to test the highs of this trend channel. So this might have been a good this is a good signal bar. The only thing I didn't like was it was an inside bar. Although the EMA is holding, there is enough room to the recent high. So when I saw this, I didn't want to take it, and I thought, wait for some kind of confirmation setup. And I saw it when it came up here and it pulls back, it hits the EMA and you see it bounces and it closed very bullish. This closed right at the open. So it opened, not right at the open, it closed above the open right at the high. And I thought this is actually a very, very good signal bar. Close above the EMA is confirming the second entry long. Overall sentiment is at this point, you think it's in the trading range, but there's enough room to get to the top. I actually tried to enter here, and I actually put my entry when I saw this, and this one opens and it goes. I dropped my order right here, and I didn't get filled. It just went up, and then after it moved up to here, the problem with I didn't want to stay in the trade because I dropped it in at 44.24.50, and my price target, my profit target was just to get one quick tick out of it. So I wanted to get out at 44.25.75, which is already up here because this high is like 24.26.25. Once it already made that move, I had to cancel my order. Had I stuck around, this one would have came back and picked me up. So unfortunately, I didn't stick around long enough. Once the move is already made, I just kind of passed it off because it also touched the recent high. So I didn't want to risk because this is what you see, or this is what I was seeing in real time. I enter my trade here. I saw this lower high. I enter right here. Boom, it flashes up, leaves without me. Not only does it leave without me, it makes the profit target. So I certainly don't want to hang around because it could easily come back, fill me, and then drop. But I didn't know this next candle would do that. It would have filled me. If I hung around, my stop would have been down here. And then, it would chop around and this one would have filled me for my profit target. However, in real time, I don't know that. So if the move's already been made, I don't want to chase it because I've done that many times in the past and it's always come back to bite. So I had to leave it alone. I think it was a relatively good trade, and unfortunately I missed it. So I had to let that one go. Prices continue moving up. I don't see a good entry. You could argue there's a second entry, but this is a terrible signal bar. This is what you see in real time. You wouldn't think, okay, this fills, I'm going to take it because you're already near the highs. The prices keep going up. At this point, I confirm that I have this trend line going up here, touching 2 times, and then it didn't really touch really nicely here. And then I was playing with the idea that might be a bigger channel here. It touches 2 times and it touches one more time up here and a second time up there. I do see a next setup coming up. There's a second entry long because a new high, first entry long, second entry long. Now this second entry long, it's a pretty good signal bar. Also visually, I thought this is like one pull down, one push up. That's first entry long, pull down, second move up. But I I didn't really I wasn't too sure what I was looking at. EMA is holding, and this is the potential first break of this trend line, but I didn't think it was a very clean break. I needed something a little bit more, so I just marked it, but I don't think there's a trade there. It's just something I hesitated, thought about more, a lot longer than I usually think about a bad trade. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to mark it, kind of discuss it, keep it in my notes. And I'm glad I didn't take it, even though it would have worked out. It's a little congested because you have a first entry long, second entry long, and maybe if more experience, if I see these more, then maybe I'll feel better, have better intuition on how to trade this. But at the time, I didn't see it as a viable trade for myself. Prices continue moving up. There is a shortened trend channel, comes down. Another shortened trend channel coming down. Prices continue. It looks like it's chopping within this trading range, and it breaks out. So right now, price action is telling me it touches once, touches twice, touches 3 times. I have confidence in this support of this trend channel. Touches once, touches twice. I'm not 100% sure if this is the top of the trend channel. So I just kind of have to keep waiting and watching. I draw this smaller shortened trend channel going up. You have an overshoot, and now it's coming back in. When I see this overshoot, I think prices might come back and test this other side with at least 2 attempts. Comes down, there's a first attempt, it fails, it pulls back up, and then looks like it's consolidating. I'm still counting this as just one attempt, consolidation. Now it looks like it's making a second attempt, but it's a very slow meandering move down. Now it's here the second attempt. Also top of this trading range, which I'm not 100% sure it's a clean trading range, so I don't use it as a basis for any trade, just something to observe because maybe if it gets confirmed a few more times, then I might think it's worth taking a trade if I see another setup coming toward it. It chops down, chops through. I draw this shortened trend channel, so I saw one leg down, consolidation is second leg down, but now this overshoot is clearly bigger than this one, so it looks like it might be kind of a correction or maybe a reversal. Comes out, it breaks into this gray trading range. Now this gray trading range, remember, it was from the highs and lows of the pre-market. It bounces back up, it touches. So now I draw this as a potential resistance, and I put the support down here. So I'm thinking there might be a trading range, a big one here, but I have to wait to see if there's more price action. It looks like it's respecting it. Gives me confidence that this is potentially a true resistance. Drops down, it's getting kind of busy, and there's a small little overshoot here, but I don't really trust that it necessarily is an overshoot. It just could be a third confirmation touch. Prices go down. It doesn't reach the bottom yet. It looks like it's makes one move up, pulls back down. I don't see a good trade. Granted, there's could be a new low here, first entry short, second entry short, but this is a bad signal bar for a short. Even though it's coming right off the EMA, it's just too bullish. If this had closed a little bit lower, I feel more confident. Prices continue moving down. I do see this second entry short visual. So what do I mean? So this is the fourth confirmation of this descending trend channel. So I clearly know, and also the EMA is kind of pushing prices and holding them down, right? I mean, it had some breaks above, but it is keeping prices down. I'm seeing a visual second entry short, meaning I see a new low here. Technically, you have a first entry short and you have a second entry short. You could reset the count here, say there's a new low here, first entry short, potentially a second entry short, and it does. But when I saw this, I was thinking I see one leg up, so there's one move up, pull back on this leg, first entry short, one leg up, potentially another second entry short, but it had to be based upon the strength of this resistance holding. So I thought there was a potential to put a entry right here to go short, but I wasn't too sure. And I thought it might be at the top of this trading range, which gives me another vote of confidence. But it took me too long to figure that out. And then, of course, this next trade just flashes down. On top of that, keep in mind, this is right at 11 o'clock, right? So this is happening right before the FOMC meeting the decision on whether to to increase interest rates, lower interest rates, or keep them the same. So here, there's nothing that says this is going to happen. This can be interpreted another way, and it could easily have flashed up several points. So if I went short, I could have been stopped out. If I went long, I could have also been stopped out, because if I went long here, if it flashed down like this, I would have been stopped out. So this is just a risky trade to try to anticipate, especially on a day like today. So now this is kind of like the area where you shouldn't really be taking any trades, because this can get really choppy. If you take a trade and it goes in your favor, I would say that's most likely due to just luck and not necessarily a high probability trade. You might have just put your money on red and the roulette table came up red. So I don't want to try to trade like that. Especially, I don't want to, lose money if I don't have to, and it would just feel like a gambling trade. Now, I did see another setup here. I wasn't going to take it though because it's only 3 minutes after the rate decision. But this is just an interesting thing that I saw that I'm getting better at recognizing. So technically, you have a new low here. Not technically, you do have a new low here. You have a first entry short. You have a hidden second entry short. Now, I like to point this out for myself because what happened is this first entry short and this green candle was formed. This red candle breaks above and then comes right back down. So in theory, you have a first entry short, pulls back. This is your second entry short, all within this red candle. Now, in the past, I wasn't very good at seeing these, and this isn't a trade, but this is something that I like to point out for myself because I'm getting better at seeing these in real time. Because I saw one tick above, and you're thinking, okay, first entry short, it actually breaks above and it comes right back down. So this is all in this candle. The second entry short is formed. However, this flashed too low. So if I were going to take a trade, negating the fact that this is right where the FOMC is, let's say this was actual just set up on a regular day, I don't know that I would take this trade anyways, just because you'd have to either put it one tick below or one tick below this one, but you're also very close to the recent lows. So all that considered, I just left it alone, but it's just something I like to point out for myself. It's good learning. In my notes, in my journal, I also just kind of highlighted this for myself. It's getting better at finding and detecting these. But as I said, context-wise, it's a little bit not the best setup because it's also far from the EMA. Perhaps if this was closer to the EMA and didn't have this big tail down here, it would have been more worthwhile to take. or at least if this closed lower and this wasn't so close to this guy. So anyways, prices continue moving down. This is a shortened trend channel coming down. There's 1, 2, 3 confirmations. When this broke out originally, I wasn't sure if it was going to come back up and test this because the EMA is showing a lot of strength at this point. So this is a breakout, and it's just kind of like I couldn't fit a clean channel, descending channel going down. So I thought it's one channel down and the more aggressive channel further down. Bounces up, and this is a very look. This all this price action from here to here. There's only 10 minutes, but look how many candles there are. This is just a lot of volatility, a lot of buyers and sellers, a lot of things trading hands. I don't want to get caught up in that unless I see this remarkably clean, high probability trade. And unfortunately, with my skill set and my skill level, I didn't see that. Now you have a new high here, first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long. These are both. This one right here is a bad signal bar. This is your signal bar. This is technically where a second entry long is made. You can also see it as one leg coming down, which is how I saw it. So definitely I thought, leave it alone. There's nothing good there right now. Plus Jerome Powell is coming out shortly. Prices continue chopping down. I draw this second short trend channel going down. Looks like it's respecting it. It makes a double bottom, and I thought that was pretty interesting. I was looking at potentially if they made a triple bottom, I might take a long, depending on how things set up. But then it doesn't really come back for you. You have a new low here, first entry short, second entry short. You can see it as one leg up, pull back, a second leg up, second entry short. But second entry short's forming above the EMA, and the EMA itself is starting to flatten out. So there's no real clean trade there. So I left it alone. Prices continue moving up. Now I draw this other shortened trend channel going up. I also saw two legs up, one leg up, pull back, second leg up. There's no clean trade there. Saw consolidation here, and it breaks up and above. I do see a second entry long here. Now, I actually thought this was a potential trade because all this time, prices were moving down. It stayed below the EMA. Now it's breaking above. Jerome Powell has come out and started speaking right here. And this is already 10 minutes have gone by. So he's giving his little speech. He's going into his Q&A. I saw this as a new high. First entry long. It's a good candle for first entry long, but I don't take first entry longs. Pulls back, makes a second entry long potential right here. I like the strength of this candle. The signal bar is telling me there's a lot of strength right here. And when it closes, I think there's still more buyers ready to push this up. Plus, it's already tested the EMA once, twice, 3 times, but I usually count this as one big grouping, twice, and then 3 times here. So it broke up, try to go down once, it wouldn't. Try to go down a second time, it would not. Try to go down a third time, it would not again. So I'm thinking I didn't though. If I were going to take a trade, I would have dropped it one tick above here. But the problem is this is a very, very big candle. So I would probably try to drop it closer to the EMA. So right here, it confirms your second entry long now, right? But I was for sure thinking it's close to the top is a possible trade. And if I wanted to take the entry, it would have been one tick above here. So in this candle, it would have been filled. And if I were playing by price action rules, I would keep it one tick way down here. However, this is a big candle that I just didn't feel confident in. Had this candle been a little bit smaller, without such a huge body, I think I would have felt more confident taking this risk, even though there is a couple of key entry points. This bottom of the ascending trend channel here, as well as the EMA. And of course, then it flashes up and I have to watch this trade go on without me. Prices continue moving up. I see another second entry long here. So I see a new high, first entry long, just barely, second entry long. Now the thing is, this could also just be seen as one big leg. So this could be seen as just first entry long. The thing I do like about this is it also touches this EMA and it's closing above and it's touching this. So whether you saw it as a first entry long or second entry long would be a little more aggressive because the signal bar isn't the best. So if I were to take this trade like this one, I would have tried to put my entry at the EMA and not necessarily one tick above. So this next candle, you would have been filled, and then I would have put my stop one tick below here, below this candle, would have been able to survive it and flash back up. But all in all, I didn't take this trade just because I couldn't really tell if this, technically it's a first entry long right here, second, but I couldn't tell if this is necessarily just one leg down. But even if you did treat it as one leg down, you have first entry long here. Here is your second entry long. Unfortunately, the second entry long, this is a doji-ish candle. So seeing this, having the expectation like, okay, it did break to a new high or broke above this candle, but it looked like it could be a trap. So for here, another aggressive entry would have just put it right here. And of course, it flashes up, and you'd only be able to hope for a higher low, which ends up not happening until you get to about right here. But right here, it feels like the trade's already been completed. Prices continue moving up. Now it breaks through. It goes into this choppy trading range. I see a new high. First entry long, second entry long. The second entry long, this signal bar, there's no body. And even though the EMA is kind of flattening out, it just felt, not necessarily a clean setup. It's also getting really close to the top of the high, but it could be breaking up to touch this. The top's around. This might have given you your scalp, but it's also very congested right here. So anyways, prices continue moving up. Now it breaks up higher, and now it's just kind of running away. So I don't have any clean entries. I don't see anything. There is a new high here, first entry long, second entry long. The second entry long is a good signal bar, but it's below the EMA now, so I just want to leave it alone. Prices continue chopping down. It falls into this trading range, which is really nice, except you don't get a good clean setup. Down here, you can see a new low, first entry short, second entry short. There's a good second entry short. However, the signal bar isn't good, and it's too far from the EMA. Prices chop around. This is very congested right here. It kind of moves up again, flashes up, and it breaks down. And technically, I have another leg here, which I didn't draw. Prices are falling within it. This is a first break, and you're thinking it's going to test them low. Comes up, chops around. This could be one leg down, push up, consolidating, and then a potential second leg, but it seems to hold on this price level. And this is just getting too late in the day. And since I didn't have any trades, I didn't want to risk taking one now, just out of fear of missing out. Then just kind of chops around. This is getting really close to the end. Now, this is the last 10 minutes. Look how many candles there are in the last 10 minutes. There are some potential like second entries if you were more aggressive, you could take, but I just didn't want to risk it because there's only 10 minutes left, especially when I didn't have any cushion and I didn't have any real idea of where things are going. And then prices just kind of go into the close. So it was a very interesting day. It's very choppy. There was one good trade here that unfortunately I missed, and there are a couple of possible trades. One right around here that I thought was a possible trade. Unfortunately, I missed that one. And so the rest of them I just had to let go. So hopefully that was helpful.